Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's your coach, Coach Nyla, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships and one of the yes, co-authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. And I probably twisted that all around. So let's do this again. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's your coach, Coach Nyla, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as co-author of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. And welcome to the Poly Teach and Chat, the Saturday's Poly Teach and Chat. Um, we're going to get started in about 60 seconds or so, give you guys some time to get your tea, water, coffee, or whatever you going to get to drink for the teach and chat, as well as something to write with, something to write on, get your questions ready, all that other good stuff, because we are going to chat about something very, very important when it comes to relationships anyway, and definitely marriages, especially marriages in polygyny. And sometimes we as wives don't want to admit to this, but we don't always have our listening ears on when it comes to listening to what our husbands want. Oh, I can hear the I can hear the mumbling under the breath and the rolling of the side eyes and everything right now. But before we get started, that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to chat about today, about listening to our husbands, what they want, what they desire, what are they saying to us? Are we really listening to them? And what that looks like. So go ahead, grab some of the right wig, grab some of the right on. Make sure you post where you are watching from, how's it where you are, what the weather's looking like, all that other great fun stuff. And we are going to get started in about 60 seconds. And until then, I'm going to let you guys watch a little something on our intro. If I can get it right. All right, guys. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Again, for those who just joined us, I'm your coach, Coach Nyla, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as co-author of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored, and your host to the Poly Teach and Chat. And welcome today, this morning's, or for me, it's the morning. So let me know where you guys are watching from. What is it looking like? Is it daytime? Is it evening time? All of that other good stuff. My Muslims out there, Eid Mubarak. You know how you eat when and all that other good stuff. So in this Poly Teaching Chat, we are going to discuss are we really listening to what our husbands are saying to us? Are they or communicating to us? See, because a lot of times it doesn't even come in the form of verbal words, the words. Sometimes we may be listening to the words. My husband, Coach Nazir, he says it a lot that we are seduced by our ears, and men are seduced by their eyes. So women, we're seduced by our ears, men are seduced by their eyes. The interesting thing is that sometimes we only use our ears for what we want to use them for. And when it comes to having a fulfilling marriage, whether you're in monogamy or polygyny, and we focus a lot on polygyny because it doesn't get as fair airplay. Not only does it get as fair airplay, and what I mean by fair airplay, because nowadays you have a lot of people talking about poly, not just polygyny, but poly. It's like polyamory and polygamy and these different things like that. But what we specifically focus on in the poly scheme of everything, or the poly realm, is polygyny, which is one husband married to multiple women. You know, he has multiple wives. So, but when it comes down to it, you have a lot of chatter now. You're starting to have a lot of chatter about it, but a lot of it that I've seen has been negative, or there have been people not understanding what that really means, or you see it where it's perverted, and it's a lot of different things. So we are trying to get people more educated on what polygyny really is, what it entails, how to quote unquote do it right, all those different things like that. And we have to understand that in order to do it right, we have to work as a team, husband and wife. Yes, yes, polygyny means a husband married to multiple wives. However, each marriage within that is an individual monogamous marriage. So the wives aren't married to each other. So they don't have spousal rights over each other. So, and we'll have that. That's going to be another discussion for another day. Because next week's Poly Tea and Chat, inshallah, God willing, is going to talk about Am I My Sister's Keeper and how to ensure happiness with my co-wife and all that other stuff like that. But like I said, that's another talk for another day, another chat for another day. Right here, we're going to discuss about our husbands, the important relationship, one of, if not the most important relationship, of course, besides your relationship with the Most High, with your relationship with the law, as well as your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your husband. That's who you married. That's the person who you got married to. Hey, New York, Aisha. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. To those giving salams and peace, guys. So, alhamdulillah. So when it comes down to it, are we really listening? This is where the communication comes into play. Now, I do a class in our campus, and I'll give you guys some information later on in the chat. I'm not going to try to be too long on the chat. Again, as I stated before, for my Muslim peeps out there, we know that it's Eid, and we have some family events going on later on and everything like that. But this is an important topic, so I want to discuss this. When it comes to our individual marriages, I'm a big stickler on minding your marriage. And again, as I stated before, I started to state that I do some classes on our campus, our OPR campus, our polygyny education campus at polygamyeducation.com. I talk about and discuss and teach on the confident wife. And Confident Wife, Happy Life. That's one of the classes that's coming up. If I'm not mistaken, I have one starting tomorrow, but I'll give you, like I said, I'll give you guys some more information later on. The thing is, in order to be confident, a confident wife, you have to know how to communicate. And communicating is not just speaking your piece, saying your stuff, making sure you're heard. It also means that you are a good listener, that not just a good listener with your ears, like we're very good at when it comes to what we hear, but being able to feel the vibes, understand what's going on, ask the right questions. See, men are vulnerable, but they don't express their vulnerability like we do. So we have to understand that we're different. That's that understanding part. We're different. And they may express hurt, pain, desire, happiness, pleasure, all those different things in different ways than we do. Yes, we are all human, but men express differently than women. We really, seriously, no matter how much we act like we do not want our husbands to be a female, a male version of a female, if that makes any sense. Where he's just pouring out his heart and soul and crying. I don't know if anybody ever seen the movie Bedazzled, but I'm sorry, he said so. Oh, talking to my AV, my behind the scenes, my hubby got distracted. So the thing is that I don't know if anybody's seen the movie, but I seen this movie a while ago. And one of the things he talked about, or he wanted to be sensitive or something. He thought that was something that the woman that he was trying to woo wanted. And this guy was crying over the sunset or whatever it was. And it was just really crazy. And it was just total turn off and everything like that. So we may say these things, but then when we really get what we say we want, it's like, okay, what the heck? I don't know if I really want this. So anyway, being able to understand first, understanding that we are different, understanding that we have to be more aware, self-aware, as well as aware of our surroundings, aware of our marriage, aware of our individual relationship. We teach on minding your marriage. Minding your marriage is focusing on the marriage that you are a part of. Being able to communicate with your husband about the specifics of your individual marriage, not comparing them to any other marriage, whether it's the marriage of he and your co-wife, or whether it's with your marriages that you see your friends having or your family members having or anything like that. Your marriage. And we discuss and train on the marriage mission statement, on what that looks like for your individual marriage, having that for your marriage. And one of the major things that is important for that marriage mission statement to be able to help you grow and be fulfilled in your marriage is being able to communicate what that looks like. Your individual mission, his individual mission, and your mission together as a married couple. So, as I stated before, being aware, because there are some times where we may not understand what our husbands are trying to tell us. Oh, so Coach Nyla, how do you find out? Well, ask questions, but don't interrogate him. You don't want to be interrogated. And if you're going to ask because you really want to know. And not, here's the thing. Sometimes we ask questions that we think we know the answer to, or we have our idea of this is how he's going to say it, or this is what he means. No, get clarity. Clarity is important. But in order to get clarity, you have to not assume that you know what he means by what he's saying. I mean, you don't want to assume that you know what he means by what he's saying. Get clarity. One of the things that I do, and I'm like, I'm not coming here like I'm just all holier than thou and I'm super perfect. And when it comes to communication, because I'm not. However, I can be very aware of when I'm messing up. And I can be very aware of when it's like, oh my gosh, I should have did it this way. When Coach Nyla have to come out in my life, my real life, not just coaching life. I'm like, I'm coaching all the time. I'm coaching myself. I'm coaching my kids. I'm coaching my family. And I'm coaching my wonderful clients. But I have to coach me first. I have to coach me first. I can't come to you guys on certain things that I'm not practicing. I have an issue with that. So, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't mess up, or that I don't make mistakes, or that Coach Nazir and I have like the best communication ever, because there are times where I'm feeling away. And I would say those words, I'm feeling away. And there are certain times where I may misunderstand. There's sometimes that he may misunderstand. But the cool thing about that is that we seek to gain clarity. Clarity is important. So confidence, clarity in communication, right? So being able to say, I'm just asking for clarity. That's what I do. I say, I'm just asking for clarity. Because one thing that I don't want to happen is that I assume something, or I'm coming to him to ask him a question. And then what happens is that he thinks I'm interrogating him, or that I'm being facetious, or I'm being sarcastic or anything like that, by really trying to gain clarity. Been there, done that on a number of levels. You live and you learn, so not only that, connection. So we're going to go into another C. I'm very, the C's are coming today. So it's clarity, it's confidence, clarity, and connection when it comes to communication. You want to be confident to have the hard conversations, but being able to come to the conversation in a way where you are open to hearing what it is. I'm not going to say some of the information that you get won't hurt, but do you believe that your husband is trying to hurt you? I mean, do you believe that your husband is trying to harm you in the things that he say when it hurts you? It's a difference, because we can be hurt on a number of different things, but harm is a whole other level. Harm is when a person is intentionally trying to belittle you, break you down, tear you apart, these different things like that. And we can be hurt on a number of different things. We can empathize with people and be hurt. We can sympathize and be hurt. We could think the wrong way and be hurt. So there are going to be some things. Everything's not going to be sunshine, rainbows, and kittens and unicorns. It's not going to be that way. It's not. And that's okay. That's life. It's called life. I'm going to give you okay, so my mom, we're going through some family things. My auntie is in the hospital. Just a little disclaimer, or just a little transparency. And she's really ill. So my mom and my grandmother were there, and I was there, and we were kind of talking and everything like that. My grandmother got hurt by some things that my cousin said, or her granddaughter said, about POA, different stuff, just until giving you guys some insight just about communication and hurt and things that can hurt you but not harm you. My grandma was hurt behind it, but these were some true statements that my cousin was saying. But we do get emotional, and it's fine. It's fine, but we got to understand that these things is a person trying to hurt us, and sometimes the truth hurts. I don't mean that the truth harms us, but the truth can hurt. But what are we doing with that truth? Are we taking that truth and allowing it to cause harm, where we're harming ourselves with it? Or are we taking it and learning from it and getting better with it? So my mom had to talk to her and talk to my grandmother and be like, this is not what they're trying to say. So, kind of like coaxing my grandmother, and she kind of understood. So these different things that was going on. And I looked at it in just all different types of relationships. This is mother-daughter relationship. That was grandmother-granddaughter relationship. And then I think about marriage, where there'll be times where our husbands may say some things, or they may do some things, and we can take it and it can hurt, especially if we're not getting clarity. And even if we get clarity, there are a number of times where certain things have been said, and I'm like, dude, that hurts. But then I have to think about it, and I'm like, okay, is this true? And sometimes it might not even be true. And I'm gonna tell you this: if it's not true, first and foremost, like I said, your confidence in yourself is important. And as I stated before, I got the class Confident Wife, Confident Life. And it's very important. Confidence in yourself, how you communicate, how you connect, what you say, how you operate throughout life. That's important. And it's important in your marriage, because your husband can see that you genuinely care about what he thinks. You genuinely care about what he does. See, we say feel a lot. I feel this way. I feel this way. I feel that way. But when it comes down to it, our husbands, they're more logical. So it'd be like, I think this, or so you want to come to them like, what do you think? It's not always how do you feel about a situation. With them, it's more of what you think about the situation, or what do you think? Or when I stated this, what did you think? What did that look like to you? I remember I had a discussion with Coach Nazir, and I asked him after a while, pondering over some things. I tend to ruminate on a number of things, especially conversations, because I want to kind of go through like, okay, what could I have done better with myself first? And then I asked him, I said, so what could I have done better in the conversation? What could I have done better? He stated what he felt, or what he believed, and what he thought that I could have done better. And I sat in that. Sometimes we don't want to sit in the truth. Sometimes we don't want to sit in what other people say. And if it's about how they feel and we ask them this question, try to listen to what that answer is and not dismiss it. Because sometimes we become dismissive and be like, no, that's not what I meant. But that's not what I said. But that's not what, you should have heard. Instead of saying, wow, okay, this is what you heard. This is what I should have said. Or this is what I meant. Is that okay? Or sometimes it'd be like, well, yeah, I did mean it that way because this is what I felt. That's that being courageous in your communication. That's being confident in your communication. And you should be able to have disagreements. When I say disagreements, that means you're not going to agree on everything. But just because you don't agree on everything does not mean that you can't connect. Just because you don't agree on everything doesn't mean that you don't love each other, that you don't have things that you connect with, that you don't like. It depends on how, you have to look at that in your marriage mission statement. You have to also look at that within your marriage when you are, I call it the marital review. Every few months or so, probably every quarter, I say don't at least do it twice a year, but every quarter is great. Where you go, maybe 6 weeks, but every quarter, where you go and you talk to your husband. You and your husband have the conversation, and this is when you're receptive, when you're both receptive, not during times when you're overly emotional, not when you're on your cycle, certain things like that, and ask each other these review questions about your marriage, in these past few months. What were you most proud of in these past few months? What could have been done better in these past few months? Those type of things. And listen. And it goes both ways. And it's up to you if you really want to work on it. Okay. I'm going to take a few questions because I see some here. And so make sure you put your questions. If you put your questions in, make sure you put question marks. And actually, I'm going to show you guys, I told you guys about the, I'm going to try to see if we have the new one up here. If not, I still want you guys to get information about our polygamy education campus. So I'm going to show you guys that. But while I do that, make sure if you have any questions, put question marks below or in the chat, and put question marks before it and after it, so I know that it's a question. And you can put your comments and things like that too, because if you're agreeing with what's going on, let me know. If you have some type of story you want to share, definitely type it in the chat. So let me let you guys see this information for the polygamy education campus, because I will be doing some classes there this week, actually for this month. So
polygamy.
Polygamy.
Polygamy. Polygamy.
Polygamy.
Polygamy? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Hello, wives.
Hello, husband.
Isn't it frustrating to see all these relationship and marriage experts not mention polygamy as though it's not an ancient solution to a modern day problem right now? Or how about those that talk against it, yet we don't know their relationship status, or they're involved in all kinds of scandals because they're scandalous?
And another thing that's so frustrating is when they're here today, gone tomorrow, and they don't offer you any tips or best practices for best results.
Or what about the religious leaders? And yes, I am calling them out. The religious leaders who don't talk about polygyny or are afraid to talk about polygyny like it's some taboo type of topic or something. And that's why we created our education campus at oprcampus.com.
Absolutely. We know that we need to make sure we have an area where we can get continuing education on all levels of relationships. So it doesn't matter if you're talking about premarital because you're single, or if you're a monogamy, you really want to build a life of fulfillment and craft it, or you choose to practice polygyny, but you need to actually have a good example so you can do it in a healthy manner.
And what's so awesome about our campus is that we have meet and greets.
And in these meet and greets, you can meet with your fellow students. You can meet with your coaches. We talk about different things with your classes. Yes, we have online live classes and challenges. So when you check that leaderboard, yes, there's a leaderboard in the campus as well. It can give you some fun, friendly competition amongst your students, amongst your peers, I guess I should say.
So with that, we want you to go ahead and make sure you have all the details. So go to oprcampus.com or click the button below to make sure you're fully plugged in, especially if you want to make 2023 your best year yet.
So click that button.
And we'll see you in the campus.
Okay, guys. You guys got some good information from that. But the updated link, and you can still go to oprcampus.com and it'll still direct you there. But it's Polygamy Education Campus. Polygamyeducation.com. All right. So let me get to these questions. As I said before, you have questions, put question marks in front of them so I know I can differentiate them from the comments, because we'll have some comments on here as well. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Coach Nyla. Any advice on how initial wife can prepare mentally and emotionally for my husband getting to know someone to practice polygamy with? We have a number of different classes, because it's not a super, it's not a simple answer where it's like, okay, this is what you do, and ta-da, everything is all good. So we have classes, our polygamymasterclass.com, and we also have coaching and counseling sessions too. But first and foremost, definitely immersing yourself in personal development. That is, reading the books, taking the classes, learning a lot about yourself. What's your triggers? What triggers you? What's great about you? All those things like that, because you have to embrace yourself and embrace your individual identity as well. Because it gets to the point where we get married and people get into this mindset, we become one, the two become one, and then you forget all about yourself. And when the husband does what husbands do, meaning that they take care of business, they leave the house, they focus on so many other things than just catering to our every single whim, we start to feel lost. Or that, what I've heard so many people say, oh, I've given him everything and he given me nothing. And that's that's that lack of gratitude when it comes to, at first everything was all good until he decided to get married again. So it's those different things like that. So main thing being the main thing, that's how to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. Definitely immerse yourself in personal development, immerse yourself in your Quran, immerse yourself in the different videos and lectures, and from a lot of personal development mentors, authors, speakers, things like that. The knowledge is definitely for the seeker. Believers seek knowledge in all areas of their lives, right? So when it all comes down to it, being able to do that and have those conversations like I'm talking about here, and hear him out and understand that his desiring polygyny is it's natural for men to want more women. Here's the thing, I was thinking about this before. I'm going to take the comment down, or the question down, but I'm still going to talk about it because it's a good question. I was thinking about this before I went live, and I said, men are created to desire women. We are created. I don't know if we're created to desire stuff, but we do desire stuff. Like, so I remember some women say, well, wow, man, that feels a way when they say, I want variety, I want variety in women, or I want a variety in a wife. It doesn't mean that that he's not pleased with you, that you are not pleasing to him, but when you start to have heavy insecurities, and those insecurities start to really rear its ugly head, that's when things get ugly. People think that when he marries again, that's where he shows, or he's like, oh, he doesn't care about me anymore, or these different things like that, or our marriage is failing, and things like that. No, it's the reaction to that, not the response, the reaction to it. And a lot of times it comes from this lack of confidence that we have, that we put it within ourselves. So being able to garner that confidence, being able to mind your marriage, being able to do those things. I'm not saying they are the easiest things to do. That's why we coach on it. That's why we counsel on it. That's why we guide people in the different programs step by step on how to be able to garner that so they can have fulfilling marriages. So it takes work, especially if that's not something that you're used to. Sometimes when you're married and you're married for a particular point in time, you get used to certain things. So then when things change, then it kind of rocks our world. I saw a quote, and I'm probably going to mess it up, but I'm going to try to recite it as best as I can remember it. It said, it made a comment about our cup, they said, if somebody hit you and you had something in the cup and you spilled something in the cup, he was like, well, why did you spill, or why did you spill what's in the cup? It was like, oh, because you hit me or whatever, or why you spill this thing. And it depends on what the cup is. So it's like, oh, why did you spill the milk? I think what it was like, they spilled milk. He said, why did you spill the milk? It was like, oh, because I was bumped. And I was like, no, you didn't spill milk because you were bumped. You spilled milk because milk was what was in the cup. So the thing is what are we filling our cup with? Are we filling our cup with insecurities? Are we filling our cup with jealousies? Are we filling our cup with mistrust? Are we filling our cup with these hateful things or these negative things? So when our world gets rocked or our cup gets bumped, that's what's spilling out? Or are we filling it with gratitude and love and communication and understanding and those things like that? So my best advice right now to you is to fill your cup with the good, fill your cup with the positive. And we have a number of tools for that at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com, but there are tools everywhere, for that. But you have to be willing to want it and be willing to work at it. I hope that makes sense. And hope that helped. All right, let's see. I'm going to go to the comments after I get to the questions. So, okay, see, here's the thing. And okay, but do the husband listen to what the wife wants? These are the questions, and I have to put this out here because this is that part where I'm speaking directly on us as wives and doing our part. And that's why we have a lot of issues when it comes to communication, because it's like, well, does he do this or did he do that? Or, I know I'm being very extra with it, but that's what happens. And then when the husband hears that, just like if a wife was to hear like, well, you don't do this for me, you'd be like, dang, I just did this for you. Like, are you not being appreciative? Appreciative. Are you not, you're not even seeing what I do. And then you don't want to run through, oh, this is what I do, this is da, 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 because then it's like, dang, I got to run off a checklist for you to even see that. That's the same thing, guys. My goodness, we got to stop that. Because if you married a man that you felt that this man is the man for you, that this man is the one that, you can build with and grow with and, leave a legacy behind with, then to go back and forth with, well, he don't do this to me, so I ain't gonna do this to him, and he don't do this for me, and so da 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 da, and he don't listen to me. No, we have to work on our part, because if we do have a good man, if we have a good husband, he's going to see that. If you're able to communicate those things with him, and that's why I talk about communication and proper communication, courageous communication. Not with the wagging of the finger, with the wagging of the head, with the eye rolls and the snotty attitude or anything like that. And I'm not saying that you're doing that, sister. I'm saying that that's how the stuff sounds. And then it's like, okay, I'm cutting off my ears. I'm cutting off my, and you can only do it so many times before it's like, I'm not listening no more. I'm not listening anymore. I'm done. And we got to go back and say, dang, where did we go wrong? And when did this happen? And how can we fix this? If this is something that's willing to be fixed. And as I stated before, I'm talking about healthy marriages. Healthy marriages that just kind of probably fell by the wayside because we weren't intentional. And I'm talking about we as a whole, as a whole. So we got to be able to communicate and listen and not always throw it back and, keep playing this ping pong or, badminton or whatever the heck, where we're hitting the ball back and forth, this tennis match across the net or across the table or whatever. Sometimes I'm gonna tell you guys, I take different notes. Sometimes things pop into my head and then I'll go into my phone and I'll use a color note because I'm like, I'm gonna speak on these things. And I'm gonna pull it up because I can't think off the top of my head, like all the things that I put on there. But it's a thing that I said, it's silence to contemplate your emotions, submission to check your ego, sensitivity to calm your energy. Sometimes we need to do these things as women because we can get, my son sneezed. So there are certain times and we react, be in reaction mode. And sometimes we just need to be quiet just for ourselves to contemplate because our emotions, and then like, okay, wow, why am I feeling this? Am I being, am I being a certain way? Am I feeling a way? Was my day rough today? The silence, just submission to check your ego, just submitting to what's going on, submitting to the will and say, you know what? All right, why is this happening? Maybe I can learn a lesson from this. Maybe I can understand what's going on. And the sensitivity to calm your energy, being sensitive, being able to, we're women. That's normal for us. It's okay. Sometimes we're taught that we got to be independent, strong, independent women. We got to do this and we got to be strong. We got to be this and that. No, that has put women in a bad position. That has put being feminine in a bad position because that's not femininity. It's okay. It's a superpower. It's very strong. That's strong. That's strength for a woman. It's strength for a woman. I hope that helped, but I didn't. I don't want to. Please forgive me. I don't want to go off where it seemed like I'm just, snapping off. It's not that. I just really want. I call myself the accountability coach, and a lot of my clients, like, yeah, you help people hold themselves accountable. Even myself, I do the same for me, myself. I do the same for my family, my kids, everything like that, because we can control ourselves. Only thing that we can control is ourselves. So being able to check that in and be able to, silence, submit, and garner that sensitivity, and express that sensitivity. Okay, so yeah, that's true, Aisha. We as women have to guard that tongue. We have to guard that tongue. Fear of law, guard that tongue. Let's see. Where we at? I just want to go through questions. Ooh, I saw some things popping up on the screen, but I was answering the question. Let's see. Question. If my husband marries another woman, how do I connect with her and get past the awkward feeling atmosphere that may occur initially? My co-wife and I do we had a couple of courses on that, co-wife connection. But first and foremost, build your relationship and connect with your husband and do that with you. And, work on you because the change. Every time when something changes in our life, we'll have to adjust. It's change. It's not the same thing. So when change happens, we have to find ways to adjust. It's not totally related, but hopefully you guys can find some relation to it. I say that when my brother, he's not Muslim, but he's married now, so that's good, yay. But he's not Muslim, but he was dating these women, and he dated a woman. He married her, got divorced, and right after getting divorced was right back with somebody else. And I don't think he ever kind of really spent time alone, like his own, like as he was an adult. I don't think he really had that alone time where he was just figuring out what he wants. So it's always been this relationship into another relationship. I mean, there's been few women in his life, so that's, cool. And he married two that are mothers of his children. But he would not be he would go through a number of different things because he did not just take the time out to learn himself and what he desires and what he wants and these different things like that. Because every time it was a change, it was like, okay, this is what I'm used to, so let me go to a different person, or this is what I'm used to, so let me go. Instead of saying, okay, let me embrace this change, let me learn some things. So first and foremost, you're going to have changes in your life. Your husband married again, there's going to be some changes. First and foremost, deal with those changes. Deal with those changes within yourself, how you're feeling, how to grow through that, connect with your husband, that type of thing. And then that relationship with your co-wife can happen later. The thing is, though, when I say if you want to create a relationship with your co-wife, just reach out, but don't expect specific things. Just reach out, do your part. Like, okay, this is me reaching out to you, and I would like to eventually have a relationship, and then just let it form. No force, no anything like that. Hopefully, and then of course be honest about that. Yeah, it's awkward, but this is what I would like to do, and we can get past awkwardness. I'm pretty sure for a lot of us who went to school, like brick and mortar and everything like that, that the first day of school was awkward. Making new friends was awkward. A lot of different things was awkward. So is being able to understand that and talk about it and kind of build from that. But first and foremost, work on those things that are first and foremost, and that's on you, your relationship with your husband, and then you can build the other stuff, familial things, as time goes on. Inshallah, God willing. Hopefully that helped. Let me see. Questions. Okay, if you have questions, definitely put them in with question marks, because I'm like searching through. I'm searching for the question marks, guys. So let's see. All right. Yes. Okay. I answered that one. So Where are we? Let's see what this says. Polygyny will always look down upon because of this culture is very sad. Polygyny can be a very beautiful thing and help in a lot of ways. Yep, so true. So true. I agree. We call it a ancient solution to a modern day problem and modern day problems. So yes, definitely. Let's see what else. I'm just going through. Let's get to this one. I feel anxious about sharing my time as I'm used to having his time after work. That's understandable. And I know that was a thing, like, how do I do these different things? Like I said, definitely, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, we have a number of videos, hundreds of videos on YouTube about how to deal with different situations like that. Another thing is join our campus. I gave you guys some information on that earlier, but go to polygamyeducation.com, join the campus. We have the classes for it that we discuss, and we go live, all those other good things. So definitely check it out there, because being able to adjust, is a big, it's a step. It's a step and it's a process. But a lot of times you're going to realize that, my goodness, there are certain things that I would like to do that I can actually do now, and there are some things that I can learn more about myself. And then when we do get back together, when my husband does come home, I can discuss with him new things, things that I've learned and things that, I've done, and all those other things like that. So yeah, it's like I said, I'm not gonna always act like it's always hunky-dory, peaches and cream, sunshine and rainbows, and kittens and unicorns and things like that. But our intention, what we focus on is going to be what we get the most of. So we're focusing on a lot of negative, we're going to get a lot of negative. If we're focusing on the positive and focus on growth, that's what we're going to get. So let's see. If your husband is taking care of you, support him in every way possible. The marriage will succeed by the mercy of Allah. So true. And, that support, that being able to listen, gaining clarity, being grateful. Gratitude is a beautiful love language, especially to our husbands. Showing them that you see them, that you hear them, that, you appreciate the heaviness, that they do, even when it comes to polygyny. I know some people will go, well, that was his choice and he decided to marry again. And da, 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 da. See, that's where you wonder why the marriage starts to dwindle or why the connection is being severed. Instead of saying, my goodness, look how much he's grown, or my goodness, it's so commendable that he has this much love to share and to help and to give. But sometimes we can be our biggest oppressors. We can want everything for ourselves and don't want what we say we want for our sisters. And we have to think about that and be very mindful of what that looks like for us as selfish human beings. Just calling a spade and being real with that. So, let's see. Yeah. Oh, this was the other part of the question. I talked about the thing, but it said, it was the thing where it said, okay, but do the husbands listen to what the wife wants, or do we always have to listen to them and put ourselves aside? I'm glad I did see that because I didn't address that part. No, we're not saying put yourselves aside. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that listen to what they say. A communication is a coming together of the minds. Communication is being able to listen and respond and to hear. And so it's not just one-sided. It's not just one-sided. But one of a really good speaker, author that I like listening to, I don't want to say Dr. Brene Brown. I want to say Dr. Brene Brown. And she talked about, I just saw something this morning, and she was talking about the 50-50 thing. And she marriage is not 50-50. And then sometimes people say, well, it's 100%, it's 100%, 100%. And she had me look at things differently. She was like, sometimes we don't come with all of that. We don't come with 50%. We don't come with 100%. We don't come, 100% meaning that you're going to do the best that you can do. You're going to do the best that you can do. And the best that you can do is not like, oh, well, throw up my hands and this is what it is. No, it means that you're going to be intentional and work hard and work smart and lovingly on building your marriage. So being able to communicate and be like, look, babe, I only got about 30 to give. I'm exhausted. I'm drained. I'm tired. I'm just letting you know. So I want you to understand that, because I may be a little snippy. I may be a little off, but this is the reason why. It's not you. This is what it is. So I'm going to try my best, but I need your help, type of thing. It's being able to communicate back and forth. It's being able to come together as a team. Because I think about that, and there's times when I do that with Coach Nyla, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling really off today. I'm like, I don't know what it is. Hey, I might need some help with this, or I might need you just to understand that it's not you. It's not you. I may be frowned up in the face, like my grandma say, balled up in the face, or or I'm really short, or I'm very, very quiet, and I do some talking, but there's times that I'm just listening, or I'm thinking a lot. And he teases me and like, you just overthink. You're overthinking. Are you overthinking again? Type of thing. But he knows that. And he doesn't know it just only because he's just super duper aware, because he has 50 million other things that he needs to do. So I'm not expecting him to say, well, you see, I wasn't talking to you. So, or you saw I was balled up in the face. You should know that there was something wrong with me. No. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling away. I'm like, or I'll say, I'm feeling away and I don't know what it is. And he'll give me some suggestions of what to do. And sometimes I'll do those things and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm still feeling like crap. Or they help. And if they do, and even if they don't, and he made these suggestions, I try to remember to thank him for those suggestions. Because sometimes we as women don't want to hear our husbands just rattling off things for us to do or just solutions because like, I just want to be heard. But sometimes, I mean, that's just what they do. And sometimes being able to just be, okay, thank you. Thank you. But like, you know what, I just need to, or just saying, thank you, but I think I just need to rest. Or thank you, I'll probably try that, but I'm really just off. So I'm just letting you know that. I just want to inform you of that. Okay. So yeah, so I'm not saying always put yourselves aside, but sometimes we do have to, and that's both ways. Because there are times that he may not be saying the things that are going on, and certain things that he don't say that you are doing that is just killing them inside or hurting them or whatever. Just because he be like, okay, I know she tripping right now, or I know that she going through her cycle, or I know she da 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 da. And that means he putting his feelings aside, he putting himself aside. So we got to understand that it's not just only one-sided. Just as much as we probably are, overthinking and thinking about, what we do and we're putting ourselves, sacrificing, so to speak, they're sacrificing too, especially like I said, talking about healthy relationships, healthy marriages, and you having a good one. All right, let's see. You be bringing it. I don't know why some women can't stay in their lane and let the husband do his job as long as he's not going against Quran and Sunnah. What's the problem? A lot of women tend to want too much. Oh, that's sometimes in our nature. Wanting too much. We all want too much. We all want too much. But like you said, sometimes we have to step back. But that's that part when I talked about the silence, the submission, and the sensitivity. It's key. It's big. It's big. And a lot of times it's just that a lot of women, especially nowadays, with a lot of what's going on and is this feminism movement and all this other stuff and this boss babe and boss beat, blah, blah, blah. It's like a lot of the femininity is lost. So I just try to bring that back. Make femininity great again. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm acting crazy, guys. Let's see. And I'm putting your comments up here. We as women need to take some examples from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's wives. They didn't always want so much like the women of today. We need to follow. Yeah. But you have to understand this too, Aisha. A lot of the women, and yes, we are practicing Muslims. You have practicing Muslims on here. But you also have people that are, that don't follow the same faith that we follow. And they don't have a lot of those examples like that right now. So, inshallah, God willing, this is a dawah opportunity, but also just being able to utilize these things as far as being submissive and listening and understanding and hearing and those different things like that, and look at these feminine women that you can actually take examples from and, work that out and really work on the personal development and that femininity. Now we do have a number of people who are bringing a lot of light to the beauty of femininity and what that looks like, and giving tips and strategies on how to combat the masculine energy that we were ingrained to have, especially in the West. So. Okay. I don't know if you were here when I talked about it, but it will be a replay, or you'll be able to watch it on YouTube. But I did answer this about, you said co-wives, though, helping an initial wife come to terms with polygyny. Here's the thing. I'd say don't sign up for that class when it comes to, and I'm going to take a few more questions and I'm going to cut this live. You guys have some good questions and been very, very, very responsive, and I really like that. But co-wives, I'm a firm believer of mind your marriage. Mind your marriage. We can't make anybody do what they don't want to do. Um, our husband, like I stated earlier, I said, we are not married to our co-wives. We're married to our husband. So we don't have spousal rights over our co-wives. We don't have spousal rights over them. Now, we would like to do things to have a good relationship with them and be able to, like I said, that establish good relations as sisters and, extended family and all these different things like that. But, that's let the husbands do their job. And that's his wife. He knows what to do, or at least he can try to do what he can when it comes to that. Co-wives need to mind their marriage. And, if you want to establish a relationship with your co-wife and try to build that relationship, but not have her come to terms with polygyny, that's not our job. As co-wives, period, whether you're first wife, second wife, third, fourth, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I hope that helped. All righty. Looking at the last bit. Yep. Can I understand? Okay, alhamdulillah. Was that the question that you had? I see, because I saw that you put a thing. You said I had a question, so I'm wondering, did I answer that? Was that the question you wanted to ask? Okay. Oh, here's the thing. Are you living in the same house with your co-wife? No. Long answer, short answer, no. And only answer, I guess, no. Yeah, we've traveled and we stayed in the same Airbnb and everything like that. So it was actually pretty cool. But no, we have our own abodes, and we've lived close to each other, so close. When we were traveling, we lived so close that we actually lived really next door to each other. And that was actually pretty cool, because I remember giving her a card years before that had two houses next to each other. And I said, in the perfect world, this is how it would be. And it actually happened. So that was actually pretty cool. So the kids were able to see each other like consistently. I mean, they do that anyway, but it was just so easy. It was like, go next door. So it was pretty cool. So no, we don't live in the same house. We do believe that, queens should have their own space. Queens should have their own space. Now, if we had like a, big estate, different things. If you guys are not familiar, but one of my sisters in Islam, and I love her so much, Mecca Nandi, she talks about how her and her co-wives were set up, and they did live under the same roof, but it was like this big place where they each had their own kitchen, their own common quarters and different things like that. So it's actually pretty cool. So they've done that, but no, we have not. We don't. I mean, so let's see, where's this? You see, my nose are getting red, guys. These allergies are kicking up so crazy, and I keep rubbing my nose, and it's itchy. Like it's been raining. Everything. I said, like, look at my nose. Look how red it is. Anyway, it says, no, it's not. No, my son was like showing me tissue. It's like, it's not running. It's just red. It's itchy. It's a question. How would the husband help coordinate a peaceful coexistence between sister wives? Coach Nazir has some really good information on that, because here's the thing. I can give so many ideas, so to speak, on what I may think that husband should do. However, it may not be that way, because husbands don't operate the way we do. And they're men are very logical when it comes to things. And it's like, well, this should be this way. So I can say, oh, well, the husband should do this and the husband should do this and things like that. But if that's not how they operate, but they could do certain things where things are smooth or should go smooth, like you said, like when it comes to when it comes to having family meetings, Coach Nazir does, he's done family meetings. We've done family meetings. We do family get-togethers. We do celebrations together, those different things like that. And communicating. First and foremost, my main thing is just communicating. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if you guys heard that, but some doggone ambulance or whatever went past. So anyway, but communicating to his wives what his vision is, what it looks like, and standing firm on that. Long and the short of it for the most part. And we as women and wives have to understand that our husband is the leader, the man, and the head of the house, the head of the family altogether, the whole umbrella, that's him. And being able to, do that silent submission and sensitivity and see what that looks like and operate like that and operate as a team. Because teams win together when they operate together. Let's see. All right. Dope Law. He said, Coach Nazir, if you're watching, and he's around, he said, if you're watching, thank you for being such an awesome family man, an example for us all for real. Be safe and stay encouraged. Yes, indeed. Definitely appreciate him. In this world we live in, it's hard to survive without money, and my husband takes care of all the expenses. I know he's trying to be fair, and I'm thankful. It's just sometimes still jealousy kicking. That's true. Jealousy is jealousy. It's just being able to navigate around it and being able to be emotionally mature about, what that looks like. Jealousy kicks in with me too. It's 13 years in. It's like jealousy is jealousy. I'm still jealous of like my sister for certain things that she, does and can do. And I mean, it's a thing about being jealous. And there's another thing about being envious. There's another thing about how you let that jealousy affect you. You can allow it to help you learn a lesson. You can allow it to make you feel negatively about yourself, or you can allow it to be a stepping stone for change. So it depends on how you operate within that. Addition to that, my husband made it clear, I have my own life. His other wife has her own life. We have nothing to do with each other. It's best to keep it that way, and that to each his own, however, it works. Okay. Are we able to message you for a private? Okay. You have any other questions that you just want to send directly? You can send it to support@outstandingpersonalrelationships.com, and we are definitely, and you can message me and message the team, or message the other coaches, but definitely support@outstandingpersonalrelationships.com is the email address that you send private questions to. And inshallah, God willing, we'll respond accordingly to that. And when it comes down to it, as I stated before, when it comes to asking certain questions, like it was some questions that were even asked on here where I said it's not that simple. So we can try to answer what we can, but a lot of times it may require some different trainings or counseling or courses. So that would be, something that would be directed. So you could definitely ask, and you can go to support@outstandingpersonalrelationships.com for that. But again, what I want you guys to do is because we're coaches, we charge per hour, and a lot of information that you guys get, we charge for this information. So yeah. Another thing is, though, like I stated before, we have classes in our polygamy education campus, and we actually do Q&As in there as well in our classes. Make sure you go to outstanding personal. Make sure you go to polygamyeducation.com, and make sure you register for those classes. And that's about it, guys. You guys had me staying on longer than I intended to. So And it's usually the case. But thank you for joining and spending their Saturday with me and getting some good information. And until next time, make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. And make sure you sign up for, I actually have an upcoming break free from jealousy work challenge that's coming up. You guys want some more information from that, go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/jealousy. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. Oh, I don't know what I just put. And so if you guys could, you could put it in the chat for me. Outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/jealousy. relationships.com/jealousy. If I could spell, guys, I'm typing crazy. Jealousy. There we go. Okay. So outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/jealousy. That is where you will be able to sign up for the challenge that I have going on called the Break Free from Jealousy and Polygyny Challenge. And I'm going to get some allergy medicine because my nose is itching crazy, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining me on the Poly Teaching Chat. And inshallah, God willing, you guys got some really good information. What I challenge you to do is implement the things that I stated on this live. Rewatch it. It will be posted on our YouTube channel. Rewatch it. Take notes. If you guys missed anything, it will be there. Take notes and utilize these things. I look forward to your success. Again, make sure you're growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. Assalamu alaikum.